Hey Peaches, I'm Eleanor and welcome to Peaches by Starlight Tarot. This is your weekly pick a card reading as it pertains to work, job, creative pursuits, career, finance, all that kind of good stuff. And so I'm using the Law of Attraction Tarot and the Tiger and Dragon I Ching, and at the end of each one I'm going to be doing a pick a card, 3 more cards with Affirmators at work. So stack 1 is the deer, stack 2 is the skunk, stack 3 is the fish. They're timestamped below. If you like a private reading all to yourself with no one else's energy involved, all for you, my Etsy page is linked below. Let's get started. Okay, so if you chose stack 1 or chose the deer, your I Ching this week is number 8, Unity. You have the King of Swords, the Queen of Cups, and the 8 of Swords. All right. So if you are familiar with the tarot at all, this Unity card is it feels like a combination of the Chariot and the 3 of Pentacles. It is chariot-like productive forward motion, and it's like when disparate forces come into alignment, and it's like arises out of a shared experience, like different people coming from very different backgrounds, having very different skill sets and personalities, being put through the same process in the same pressure cooker, and coming out as like a gelled team. It's like because you've all had the same experience, you understand something about each other and about this process that other people don't. And so we do have these 2 people depicted here. This is the professor type. This person prefers rules, reality, strict adherence to facts and logic. And then you have mother, like a trusted, loving advisor, protective, nurturing, encouraging, a safe person who will see you without judgment. And some of you may be one or the other and you're dealing with the other, or you may be uniting these 2 aspects of your psyche into a more holistic version of your identity. Like, you will find that by doing so, you emerge from this 8 of Swords quagmire that you may have been in up to until this time. And it's like a mental entanglement of your own making mentally. So it's like, it does feel, because of this 8 of Swords, more leaning towards that internal version of unity, where you might be making friends with a part of yourself that you haven't trusted in a very long time, building a rapport, repairing a relationship to your intuition. It's like there's a very logical side that is doing all the research and is very, interested in what studies show and what other people show and what the experts show and who should you listen to, and the one that knows truly what you need to know is already within you, and you may be repairing that line of communication. So it does feel like that is more towards that internal version, you working with yourself instead of against yourself, and reviewing past decisions and commitments to truths that may not have actually been true for you, but were someone else's reality and someone else's truth. There is a relationship to self being slowly repaired as you align towards the same goal, that goal being balance and not one having rulership over the other. There's no one that wins out, but being able to work together to move forward and to move towards success and to move towards what you want. So go ahead and set your intention whether you feel like card 1, 2, or 3 will have a message for you. And let me tune in. All right, card 1. Money. I deserve to make money, and I invite financial abundance into my life by mailing out hundreds of gilded envelopes that say, "Your presence is required. Please RSVP." If the desire to make more money seems selfish or shallow, I remind myself that money is the only path to food, shelter, and a secure retirement. Then watch myself quickly shut up and get back to hustling. Those gilded envelopes won't pay for themselves. I'm sorry. So there can be, with that King of Swords and the Queen of Cups, a conflict between desiring to move forward with money as a goal, and then that kind of more intuitive, loving, emotional side going, but is that selfish? But should you be more concerned about others? Should you be more concerned about, and it's like you don't single-mindedly go in either direction. How can they work together? Card 2, delegation. I make like the mayor of multitasking and delegate duties left and right, then let them drift away from my awareness, certain that they'll get done. Rather than micromanage, I macromanage. For now, I'm only focused on the biggest elements of the journey. What's our galaxy up to? Why wasn't it at the last meeting? So that makes me wonder, does the King of Swords and Queen of Cups not agree on how much of it you should do yourself? How much of it you should delegate to others? How much control can you let go of? Or how much do you feel like you're putting upon others? And how can you agree the best way to divvy up the work? All right, card 3, ego. When my selfish ego rears its ugly, screaming little head, I calmly toss it a Xanax and ask it to leave me alone. I'm a big, generous person, and in the grand scheme of things, it doesn't matter if someone else gets credit for my idea, because at the end of the day, when you really stop and think about it, the idea might end up being bad, and then they'll have to take the fall. So there. That's great advice. And that is making me think about this right here. This can very much, usually, the 8 of Swords does depict negative self-talk or limiting self-talk and limiting self-beliefs. And that's exactly what the ego does. The ego puts limits on us and hems us in and tells us no, in order to keep us safe, but it can also keep us stuck. So like, share, and subscribe and all that good stuff, and I'll talk to you next Saturday. Thank you. Okay, if you chose Stack Chew or chose the Skunk, your I Ching card this week is number 64, Before Completion. And you have 8 of Wands, the 8 of Cups, and the Hierophant. Okay. So this hexagram speaks on the end being in sight, but not exactly in your hands yet. So it's like the encouragement to not let up now and to keep going. It's like keep doing what it is that's gotten you this far. It's like the end is near, but you aren't in a position to just coast in from here. It's gonna be, you have to stay the course. You have to keep your pedal to the metal. It's there, but it's not as good as done, or it's not downhill from here. It's the final burst of energy. That's this 8 of Wands. That's this burst of energy. That second wind that carries you across to that final completion. So the 8 of Wands is that accelerant and that infusion of energy and a revitalization of hope for the future. And without that hope, you might let off the gas and create a self-fulfilling prophecy. If you think, oh, there's the end, we're almost here, so I can lighten up. It's saying you have to, no, keep more gas, keep going. 8 of Cups is eyes on the prize, eyes ahead, no looking back, no checking the clock. It's an opportunity that you only catch if you are moving forward, if you look forward, and you won't find opportunity in the past. It's not, with the 8 of Cups, not a time to be indecisive, at least in this deck, about what you want. And it's not a time to be indecisive about giving up something that doesn't move you closer or make room for what it is that you want. So it's like, let that door slam behind you because a new one is opening. And with 64, you can see which door it is and sort of aim for it. And with all this, this is all being influenced and presided over by the Hierophant. And so this is coherence, being impeccable with your word and in your integrity. It indicates a system that works, and hesitation or misalignment aren't going to stand or slide through undetected. So it's like no loopholes, no little warp pipes like in Mario, just dedication and follow through. So go ahead and set your intention for whether you feel like card 1, 2, or 3 will have a message for you. And let me tune in. Okay, card 1. No, that's not it. Card 1. There it is. Imagination. I treasure my imagination, and I can conjure it up and use it at any time. My imagination helps me dream up creative solutions to complex problems that I wouldn't have thought of from inside the same old box. Like how to maybe get outside of this box. Anyone? Help. So it may be in your imagination being able to imagine a solution that gives you that 8 of Wands burst of hope and burst of energy. Maybe you have to use your imagination to see that door opening. All right, card 2. Consideration. I'm a considerate person, and my new goal is radical conscientiousness. From now on, I'll leave every space tidier than I found it. I'll find small ways to support a teammate, even if they didn't ask for it. I will eat the leftover pumpernickel bagel, even though I didn't order it, and never would because I'm considerate enough to know that sorts of bagels normal humans like to eat. Card 3. Joyful space. Uh-oh. Has your workspace slid from model of cleanliness to a graveyard of mugs? From Pinterest pic to Kathy cartoon? Time to get a second job, the job of giving your surroundings a makeover. You may be chained to a desk, but it's not a prison, unless you work in a prison, but even then you're not a prisoner. Use your freedom of expression to make your space as joyful as you can. Ditch the clutter, hang some pics, sage that cubicle, spruce up your space, and you'll earn the excuse to be lazy and messy all over again. Unless you are, in which case, sorry. And that makes total sense because sometimes clutter can bog us down mentally. My boyfriend was just talking about this in the shop that he owns and runs. Like, it gets hard to motivate to work as it starts to get messy and starts to get cluttered. And anytime he goes in there and just spends a day cleaning it all out, then the next day he goes in and he gets like twice as much done just because it's like the space is more conducive to, it's less distraction and less mental chatter and annoyances and all that stuff. Like, share, and subscribe and all that good stuff, and I'll talk to you next Saturday. Thank you. Okay, if you chose stack 3 or chose the fish, your I Ching card this week is the Army. Are you joining the Army? You have King of Pentacles, 7 of Cups. Doesn't that look like the mirror ball in the Labyrinth movie? And the Queen of Wands. And what does he say when he's spinning it around? He says it'll show you your dreams. And that's like perfect for the 7 of Cups. I don't know if that's what this artist had in mind, but okay. Anyway, so this with the Army, it does show you. It's talking about your ability to align and gel with others towards a common goal. It feels like almost like the culmination of the other two put together in one here. Combining personal integrity with group cohesion, discipline and organization towards a common goal within a structure. So it's like it shows you being very focused this week for sure, having a very defined place within a structure and performing your role well and with confidence, delegating like a pro, joining forces effectively with people who are like you in terms of commitment to integrity, performance of their own role within the structure. So they're people that you can trust, they're people that you can count on without having to even look. Like you just know, you just know these people are there and have your back and are as focused on the goal as you are. It's like you're of like mind because you're all zeroed in on the same thing. So it feels like a very well-oiled machine this week. However, with, you know, this could easily be all with these cards like an army of one. This could still be happening within you. Seven of Cups does indicate an ability to imagine many options, a dreaminess and a tendency to fantasize. And so that might be where this army is coming in and is helping you, you know, focus, hone in on that one goal. The Queen of Wands has the power of imagination and fantasy, but she's reliable and sincere and knows how to channel those options and dreams into action. She's known in this deck as the confidant. You may be asking her advice more so than actually showing up as her this week. It could be either or, whether you're seeking this person out to help you or whether you're showing this up this way as someone else, for someone else. So the question I feel like they're asking by having her pop up here is, who do you trust with your ideas? The King of Pentacles is the grounded one. This is the one who has the resources or the knowledge of how to maximize the resources you have at your disposal. You may be looking to this person for an investment, a loan, or financial advice. The overall thing I'm getting is that you have a lot of forces, internal and external, working in your favor this week. So it's like, yeah, you and what army? And it's like, well, this one, I have my groundedness, I have whether it's you being in this role or whether it's someone that you know that you're working with in this role. This King of Pentacles is here for you and this Queen of Wands is here for you. And whether you're aligning and becoming this army of one within you and focusing on one goal, or whether you are calling these people in to create an army to help you hone in on one goal and help you kind of direct your energy, you have people got your back this week. So go ahead and set your intention for whether you feel like card 1, 2, or 3 will have a message for you. And let me tune in. All right, card 1. Tenacity. If at first you don't succeed, try to remember that there's an old tired saying about this for a reason. Everyone fails sometimes, but failure is only failure if it happens on the very last page of your story. And since you're still breathing, that's not where you're at right now. So if you've hit an obstacle on your way to success, don't sweat it. Dust off your air quotes and hang them on that failure as a reminder that failures are a part of success. And this is all part of your lifelong job. Then get right back into it. Your next failure is waiting to bring you closer to your dreams. Haha. All right, card 2. Limits. It's fun to be a yes person, but not when the yeses are maybe responsible for you suddenly having no time, no patience, no will to live. It's time to exercise your right to set boundaries and declare limits on how much responsibility you can take on. Yes, you are sometimes allowed to say no, and no, that won't make anyone else claw your eyes out. You know that you can handle what you can handle, and nothing is going to fall apart if you nobly admit that you've noticed you are not able to add an opened note to your novel of notifications now. They've got all the NOs as they appear in those words bolded up. See, that's the thing about when you're working in a group, is do what you do well and count on them to do what they do well. And don't, if you just say yes and yes and yes to everything, it's not an army anymore. It's just you being Atlas. All right, card 3. Fulfillment. I set my sights on a totally fulfilling life and will settle for nothing less. Jobs are like relationships, and I can always choose to break up and move on, knowing that something more satisfying and blissful is around the corner. It must be, right? Because I've looked everywhere else, and how many places can bliss and satisfaction possibly be hiding? Alright guys, like, share, and subscribe, and all that good stuff, and I'll talk to you next Saturday. Thank you.